Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Things are gonna get a little bit interesting today. We have a Japan-exclusive custom shop guitar for a relatively new anime series. And the reason why I wanted to pick this thing up is because it is Gibson's first official dive into the anime market, you know, making signature guitars for television shows, essentially. Fender has been absolutely killing it for years with these anime signature guitars. And unfortunately, these aren't really selling that well in Japan, so I thought I would pick one up, take one for the team, and hopefully raise some more awareness here, because I think the anime signature guitars are pretty cool. But this is a signature guitar from the show Argonavis, and it's the signature guitar of the fictional character in that story called Goryo Yuto. So essentially, the plot line of this Bang Dream created show is there's a guy who's kind of sad, down and out. He's at a karaoke bar just singing, and then these two guys, Goryo Yuto and Wataru Watoba, they say, hey dude, you can sing really well. Let's form a band and go on an adventure! In a roundabout way. That's, you know, coming from a guy, I've never actually watched the show. I just wanted to support Gibson getting into this market. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this guitar here. Fresh in from Japan this morning. Let's hope it arrived safely. There it is. It's essentially just a blue Les Paul custom shop level spec. So, this is the custom shop reissue level guitar. They made 25 of these things for the show, so very, very limited release. I tried to get Gibson to send me one of these things before they were shipped out to Japan, but unfortunately I was a little bit too behind on asking them that. They were all already over there. But this guy is number 7 out of 25, so halfway decent number here, I would say. And pretty much the only thing that makes this guitar special is it's blue. So if you've always liked those like blueberry burst Les Pauls and you've always wanted one that was within the custom shop, here you go. You might consider one of these even if you don't like the anime. I will say, you know, comparing this to what I'm seeing here and in my playback screen over here on my phone, it's more of like a green center rather than blue on blue. That's strange how that doesn't show up very well. But these things brand new over in Japan, it's roughly 6,500 USD. But just in case you can't necessarily afford this custom shop one, they did also do a USA release. And converted over, they were roughly about $3,000. So this was one of those times that the custom shop was actually the better deal here, because a normal custom shop reissue like this, I mean, this is just a reissue with a special finish, right? Those things are 6,500 bucks. But the 50/60 standards, they're only 25. So you're paying a $500 premium on the USA version. And to be honest, some of those USAs got better tops here, because I specifically chose this exact guitar right here for one reason. So I'm going to open the certificate of authenticity here, and you're going to see Goryo Yuto here. Look at this guitar. These are all supposed to have ridiculously quilted tops, but apparently the custom shop couldn't get 25 really nice quilt tops, so they gave him a flame top. What is this? I had to tease my buddy at the custom shop with that, because it's like, yeah, this is kind of a bad top for one of these things. I mean, it even says on the box, 3AQ. This is very clearly more of a flame top in my opinion. But that's enough roasting Gibson on this one. I mean, it's a nice guitar anyways. But they also did the Matoba Signature USA SG bass. Now when I'm saying USA, that's USA lineup. All of these were Japan exclusives. You cannot purchase them in the US. You'd have to import one back. But his was one of those EB3 basses, but it had a white sparkle finish. I don't think I care enough to import one of those things in. Now, if I could have got it before it left the country, sure. But paying a premium for these, I felt the custom shop was probably my best bet if we wanted to talk about these. But it also comes with this special voice drama CD, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised they didn't do like a digital download link. I mean, who uses CDs anymore? I'm not even sure if I still have a way to play this. But it's nice case candy anyways. But it looks like we get a black back plate. You get all your Japanese warranty manuals. But these things, I think they were officially released in late October, but this one shows that it was completed in late August. Oh yeah, very cool. I think we're all caught up now, so we can just react to it as an instrument. Now, if you want to put an oddly... What? I have a feeling the dealer might have accidentally gave me the wrong pickguard, because that is way too yellow as compared to everything else. It might not show up in the camera, but trust me. I think the true reason why these things aren't necessarily selling that well in Japan is because it's a relatively new anime. So I think as like Gibson's first attempt at an anime run, they kind of chose a bad one. I let Gibson know, if you want to do the coolest anime signature guitar, do the Beck Les Paul. People have been making replicas of that forever. You know, the one that got shot, I think, what was it, 9 times? I would love to see Murphy Labs recreate that thing, because they'll have to just drill through the whole guitar, make it look all realistic, maybe even burn it a little bit. That would be something that would get people crazily excited, especially if they did it in limited numbers. That's like a $10,000 to $15,000 guitar, because that show has a huge following. I mean, as I said, Fender's been killing it. We had just recently reviewed the Asuka Telly from Neon Genesis Evangelion. The old Beck signature Tellys sell for crazy amounts on the used market. And my favorite anime character of all time, Donald Duck Telly. Yes, I'm being facetious. I'm being silly on that one. But they do exist, as do a Mickey Mouse and a Minnie Mouse. And I really want a Donald Duck Telly, so if anybody has one, let me know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and throw this guy on the workbench, take an individual look at its parts and specs to see if, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something a little bit more special to these than just the finish. Inside the Goryo Yuto, I did find something that makes this different from just the regular run-of-the-mill standard reissue, and this is based off of a 59 reissue now that they've actually dove into the specs. We get aged 57 classic pickups in here, whereas the standard reissues at this day and age come with the custom bucker. Sure why it says 57 aged, because they're not aged. Maybe it just means that they like age the coils. I know that's kind of a thing, like maybe they underwind them or something, so let's find out. And while finding that out, I also found another difference. We have a metal output jack. That's kind of interesting. Normally reissues have the plastic ones to be correct, but no. 7.68 in the bridge, neck position, a little bit hotter than that. It doesn't seem like these are any different than regular 57 classics to me. But something else a little bit interesting here is the way they constructed this neck. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So you can see the mahogany tenon coming in here, and that's the long neck right there. But what you're seeing here is the maple cap that they use to cap off the truss rod channel. But normally, it's not that big. It's just like a square. This one's like twice as big. So that was kind of interesting looking in there. It looks like we get some paint flecks and whatnot in there. But since it's a transparent finish, you can still see through to that mahogany body. I do not believe this has been weight relieved at all, though. As far as the bridge goes, just your standard non-wired ABR1, reads Gibson ABR1 on the back. And it is a lightweight aluminum tailpiece. Now, I don't want any hate for me, calling this not necessarily a quilt top. I mean, it's a nice top. It just doesn't fit in with the rest of the bunch, if we're being honest here. I mean, quilt top was a feature that these were all supposed to have. Even some of the USAs have killer quilts. This one, I'll give them a pass because, the more and more I look at it, I can see how it does have quilt-like features. But this is very clearly a flame top. But, what's great about this is if you're somebody that doesn't care about this anime and you just want a really nice flame top blue Les Paul standard historic spec, that's who this guitar is going to be for. Because we get the beautiful aged 59 style knobs here. And I say aged because, they're very golden looking. They haven't actually been aged. And you've got the thumb bleeder pointers here. The other person this will speak for is people that don't like pickguards. There was never one drilled at the factory, but there is one in the case if you wish to. But moving on from our body here, we get a mahogany neck with a rosewood fretboard. And I just want to say, This rosewood fretboard looks absolutely fantastic. Like, I did not even condition this. That's how happy I am with the color on this one. Now, it could probably use a light condition. You can see some light tooling marks, but the wood grain, the color, it's all just perfect, especially with these old looking inlays here. Very cool. As far as neck specs go, 1.68 inch at the nut. That increases to 2.06 by the 12th. First fret neck depth, 0.92. And 1.01 by the 12th. The spec sheet calls this a medium 59. So it's exactly what would come on a regular R9. And moving on to our headstock, I still don't fully understand when Gibson sends truss rods that look like this out, where the rod's just sticking up slightly past that. It's not maxed out, but you know, it is what it is. But you get the historic style truss rod cover and the Gibson logo. Here's what it looks like after a good conditioning. So you can see some tooling marks on the fretboard and stuff is unfortunately common on these guitars. Should it be acceptable? I guess I'll leave that up to you. But this does have a nylon nut, and I did notice one more thing that I wasn't ever even thinking about that makes this different from the regular reissues. It's not VOS. So if you hate all that VOS stuff, the gunk that they put on it to make it look old, this is another one that you could consider because it's like a brand new guitar. As far as the fret wire, it's 22 of them, medium jumbo in size. However, let's go ahead and move on to the back. I did find another very, very small, minute difference, just in case you missed it. Our back plates are black instead of brown. Ooh! Oh, and I also noticed, normally in this little cavity right here, that little shelf, you'll see it labeled as R9 or whatever it is. I do not see that on this model. Even though it's definitely built to R9 specs, you got your 50s wiring in here. It's so strange to look into a historic spec guitar and have blue. And here's a quick peek in the toggle switch cavity as well. Nothing too crazy. But the finish of this guitar is supposed to be like the Sea of Hakodate, which reminds me of the Pikmin Hokakadate or whatever it was called. But it's just a really dark blue hue. You don't find too many blue-backed historics. It makes it kind of difficult to see the thin binding in the cutaway, but that's also there. It's just kind of a, very unique guitar. Something that you really couldn't get outside of like the made-to-measure program. And it's just your mahogany neck here. Once again, you can see through to the wood grain. Medium neck profile and all that. Single line Kluson tuners. And the serial numbers are special on these guys. So GY for Goryo Yuto, 07. So that goes up to 25. So hey, lucky number 7. Got the very, very unfortunate and unlucky top. That just doesn't match the rest of the run. And this one's pretty manageable for a Les Paul. 8 pounds, about 7 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how this one sounds. Okay, I've kind of forgotten how powerful it feels to play a Les Paul. Been doing so many Fenders and other brands lately. It's good to be back to what I'm used to. So we'll just run through this basic stuff. It's nothing too crazy. Just a standard Les Paul reissue, starting with our neck pickup. Switch over to the bridge now. position. Now we'll switch over to some distortion. That's the one thing I notice out of this guitar. Every note rings so clearly, even when distorted. Okay, now that we know all about the Goryo Yuto signature guitar from Argonavis, what are my final thoughts on this thing? I mean, it's just basically your run-of-the-mill, top-of-the-line Les Paul. It's a highly spec'd out guitar, pretty much as accurate as you can get at this particular time in Gibson history to a 59, except for this time you get kind of a cool finish, and it's a limited edition. I mean, why would you not want a 1 of 25? It seems the anime guitars, they might not be highly looked after at first, you know, but as the anime ages and it gets more fans with disposable income, these things seem to hold value and go up. So I'm curious if this will become a future classic, but honestly, it all depends on the popularity of the show. But I thought it was really great for Gibson to get within this territory because it's not something that they've ever dove into before back in the Juskowitz era. So it kind of shows maybe Gibson's going to try to dabble their feet into some more things. I think doing a Beck reissue would just blow the minds of a lot of people if they could actually pull that one off. But if nothing else, now you know if you ever see one of these things out in the wild, why it exists and why it's so blue. If you're interested in being the next owner, you can check it out in my Reverb shop. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.